I'm in Shenandoah National Park down in the Southern District today, and this is the Blackrock Summit Trailhead. This is mile marker 85. Yep, there it is, my little red car. And it's a nice parking area here out there, Skyline Drive. And so this is a little connector trail that gets you over to the Appalachian Trail. We're going to hike south and check out Blackrock Summit. Pretty nice views from there. And then I'm going to continue south to Blackrock Gap, and depending on the overgrowth situation there, we might do a little bushwhacking, looking for the site of the old Blackrock Springs Hotel, which is long gone, but the springs will still be there. The elevation here is 2925. Okay, well that's a really short connector. Right up there is the parking lot, and here's the Appalachian Trail right here. So we're going to head south towards Blackrock Summit. It says Blackrock Summit 0.5 miles this way. 0.2 of a mile. Whew, totally out of breath. Climbing through 3,000 feet now. The elevation here is 3010. Today's May the 10th. It's worth noting that the trees up here above 3,000 feet are just now starting to get leaves. See that? So this is what the trees look like on May 10th. Five-tenths of a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 3,090, and I'm not at the very summit, but this is the Blackrock Summit up there. I'll see if I can get up a little higher. Here's a look to the west, down into the Shenandoah Valley, and here's the Appalachian Trail. That's where I came from. And all of a sudden, there's just this ginormous, huge mountain of rock. It's like everything else eroded away except for these really hard rocks. So I guess the AT loops around this thing before it heads south. So let's go down this way a little ways. Here's a 360 pan here at Blackrock Summit. Pretty nice views up here. See if I can do this without falling down, because you have to balance yourself on the rocks. Here's where I came in. Here's the ginormous pile of rock. And we'll keep going this way, looping around. Just thought I'd point out that black color on that rock, that is black rock fungus growing on there, and more of it all down in through here. See how those rocks have this black fungus growing on them? Alrighty, well, I climbed up here. I'm at the top or near the top of all the rocks. The old resort's down that way somewhere. We'll get down there in a little while. .4 miles into my hike, I'm down to 2,610 feet. Been dropping way down. I'm way down in a in a hollow now. This is the Blackrock shelter. I was fairly close to it along the AT, so I decided to come down, visit this. It's been years since I've been down here, and I see down there they've put in a new composting privy down there, so we'll go check that out too. But here's the here's the shelter. They call these huts inside Shenandoah. So there's the hut. It's got 2 levels for sleeping, the floor level, and then there's a upper level. There's a stone fireplace here. So I see some camping sites down there. And here's a yellow post, which means that the water source is down here. Looks like you get it out of this creek down here. So we'll check it all out. Yeah, so the water source down here is this headwaters of this stream. It's kind of pooling up down there. It'd be easy to get some water from down there. Oh, wait a minute. Ah, there's the pipe right there. Here's what the designated camp spots look like here. In Shenandoah, they put these poles in the ground with a little camping symbol. The other sign says no campfires. So there's one there. They've got part of the area revegetating over there. There's another spot there. I took a picture of the layout up there. There's more than 2 spots. but they may be on the other. The rest of them may be on the other side of the hut. So anyway, there's 2 here, and then over there's the hut, and the way you come in, and right behind here, that drop off, that's the creek where the water is, and then up this way is the composting privy. Okay, yeah, so here's the typical layout for the new privies. These are the composting type. I've explained how these work before. So it's got 2 sides, and they alternate the side periodically so that they can get in there and stir up the composting material just like you would a compost pile at home. These are a lot nicer. They're easier for the park to maintain. And after everything's completely composted per specs, it's safe to just spread out on the forest floor. So long term, a lot less problems than the old pit style. So now I'm on the back side of the new privy, and right there's where the old ones used to be. There's one hole there, another hole there. So the old pits, when they got full, you just covered them up and you had to dig a new pit. This type here never fills up. .8 miles into my hike. The elevation is 2730. I'm back up on the AT. This is where I turned off. Up that way is where I came from with the Blackrock Summit. When you get down to here, what you do is you make a left-hand turn, and you got to go way down into that hollow to get down to the Blackrock hut. So I didn't narrate this when I was coming down here because there was people standing around here, and I didn't really want them in the video. So, and a lot of people don't want to be in videos. So now I'm just going to continue heading on down this ridge line down to Blackrock Gap. It's about another 7/10 of a mile till we get down there. 2.3 miles into my hike. I'm down to 2,400 feet. There's Skyline Drive. Here's where I came from, down off the ridge line. And right here, I'm on the Appalachian Trail still. And right here it crosses over Skyline Drive at about a 45-degree angle. So we're going to cross over and hike the AT on the other side of Skyline Drive. It's about another 1/4 of a mile to the Gap. .5 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2330, and I'm at Blackrock Gap. Here's the parking area, and I don't know, I gotta look around a little bit to figure out if I'm gonna try any bushwhacking. I gotta do a little exploration here first to see where things are. There's the Appalachian Trail over there. That's where I came from. And oh, okay, it continues on over on that side over there. It stays on the same side of the road. But meanwhile, we're going to look over here, go down the west side of the mountain a little bit. There used to be an old historic hotel and cottages down here at Blackrock Springs. So I don't know. Depends on how overgrown it is. I may or may not go down there. We'll have to take a look here. Well, that was easy. Just go to the other end of the parking lot and there's the old road. I think this is called Payne Run Fire Road. There's a parking lot right there. So yeah, let's go down here a ways. I've got a few waypoints that I got off of old maps. So I'm going to go down here a little ways and start looking for remnants of old abandoned roads. If nothing else, I can verify that I see them or not. This is not the best time of the year to do it though. But if I can find them at all, then I can come back in the wintertime and do some more thorough searching. But let's go down here just a little ways. So right there's a USGS survey benchmark from 1963. And I'm just reading the information band here. 3.7 miles down this way gets you down to the park boundary. Well, I'm not going near that far, but let's just go a little ways and see what we can find. Well, I'm getting close to my waypoint number 8. You'll see that on my map. Matter of fact, my GPS just beeped. Man, this is so steep here. It's hard to believe there was ever a road down here. I don't know. I'll take a little look here. I don't think so. Or if it was like super long time ago. Wait a minute, what's this right here? Oh boy. Look at this. Okay, there's the main road. Ugh, get down here. Look at that. Okay, I'm just going to walk down here a little ways and see where this goes. If it goes anywhere, it used to go to the Blackrock Springs Hotel though. Definitely a road. Definitely a road. I can't believe I found this thing. Well, I'm going to follow it a little ways just to get a GPS track. Okay, well now that I'm away from the new road's way up there now. I'm down here. I'm standing in the ditch. Man, did they pile some rocks up there? Look how they armored up that side. And then this is the high side over here. .8 miles into my hike. I'm down at 2140. That's where I came from, down there, and so I was basically heading in the wrong direction, away from the site of the Blackrock Springs, but it comes down here and it makes a almost 180-degree turn, and looks like it continues on down this way, which is in the right direction. Another about a quarter of a mile. So what the heck, if it's not too hard to get down there, may as well follow this on down to the springs. Maybe we can find the springs. Still following this old road. Not too bad so far. Another less than 2/10 of a mile to go. Holy cow, look how steep the mountain is. I'm holding my camera approximately level. I mean, on this side of the road, it really drops off. 3 miles into my hike, I'm down to 2,045 feet. That's where I came from, down this way, and here's one of the springs right here. Coming out of the ground right here. Well, there's some leaves covering it up. But, I mean, these springs were supposed to be like mineral water. So these things would have run down, probably down that way a little ways, probably into some bathtubs or something. I'm going to keep heading over here to where I'm thinking maybe the hotel and stuff used to be. Let's continue on. Okay, here's another one right next to the first one. That's kind of a pond right there. Maybe you can see it's flowing. And then it heads on down this way. So, I'm going to keep heading over this way though. On my way back, we'll investigate these springs a little more. Okay, now that's kind of interesting right there, the way that's built up. That's where it came from, this way. I'm past the springs, and that looks like the low side of another road up there. And then I see some big squared off stones up there. So, oh, and there's some more stuff up there. So let's go up one more level here and see what we can find. Okay, so this is a big old pile of rocks here, and I'm going to mark this location because if you look at that rock there, obviously like squared off, that one's squared off, looks like they were dry stacked. Ow, I'm getting eaten alive by thorny bushes. Yowie. Oh yeah, this is a big pile of rocks here. Wow. So the pile of rocks starts down there and comes way up here. So I got a feeling this was it. And then they armored up the driveway. That's the high side. Here's the low side. You can see it's armored up down here. And it just goes back the way I came. Oh, and there's some bricks there too. So it's mostly stone, but some bricks. I see something looks like black plastic down there by that big tree that's blown down horizontal. We'll check that out too. I got a feeling this is the spot though, right here. Okay, up there's that ginormous pile of rocks. Came down here, here's some metal, I don't know what it's off of. Heck, for all I know, could be off of the roof of the place. And then just below that big pile of rocks, it's dug out here, And there's a great big ditch going down this way. There's another piece of that metal right there. So let's go down here and look at this and see what's going on down here. Metal. The road I came in on is up there a little ways up the hill. I came down here because I saw this flat zone right here. I mean, this had to be, with with as steep as the mountain is, this had to be dug out. I mean, look at that. So, I mean, I can imagine a building here running that way, and then behind me with the porch looking out this way down into the valley, and then the rest of the mountain behind you. So there's that big pile of rocks up there. I'm not sure what that is, but actually this is more dug out and flattened out, leveled out. I mean, you could put a decent sized building or two in here, and that way, and over that way too. So here's a 180-degree pan. That's looking down the side of the mountain. And then over this way. And then it's dug into the mountain pretty steep right there. And then up there somewhere is the road that I hiked down on. So look around a little bit more. Okay, well, I'm getting ready to leave the site there. Up there's the road I came in on, but this looks like another road out of here. So I'm going to, and it's only about 500 feet or so, maybe 500 feet this way to the modern day fire road down there. So if it's not too hard to hike this, I might just push through 500 feet of this and get down to the modern road, and then it'll be easier to hike back up. .4 miles into my hike, I'm down to 1,910 feet. I bushwhacked my way back to the fire road, and then I found my waypoint BRG number 7, which is down there, and here's another road heading up to the old site of the spring. So I hiked up a little ways. I'm starting to get tired though, because this is kind of steep hiking, but I hiked up a little ways just to establish a track. But this is definitely another road that'll take you up to the site. So I'm going to backtrack and start working my way back up to the gap, up at Blackrock Gap. .4 miles into my hike, I'm back up to Blackrock Gap. The elevation here is 2330. Yep, the pollen is flying fast and furious up here, and so I just came up out of the old road that goes down the side of the mountain. It goes all the way to the bottom if you follow it, about 4 miles. So going to cross over here and get back on the AT. I got to climb back up to about 3,000. Yeah, I'm at 2330. I got to get up to about 3,000 feet to get back to my car. Just for everybody's information, that's where I came from. And the AT's over here. But this fire road here, this goes all the way down the east side of the mountain. And if you follow it down to the bottom about 5 miles or so, you'll end up down at the Charlottesville Reservoir. There's a lot of these bear warning signs posted along this stretch of the AT. One of the main things that catches my attention down near the bottom: if a black bear attacks, always fight back. That's different advice than they'll give you for grizzlies and other bears. But if a black bear attacks, always fight back. Look at that, trail magic. We got peanuts, almonds, raisins, and some kind of washed out looking M&Ms, I'd say. .8 miles into my hike. I'm up to 3,110 feet. Whew! I started down around 1,800 down there by the Blackrock Springs, the old historic site. So that's like a 1,300 foot climb. That's where I came from. And this is looking like the, I'm going back a slightly different way using the old fire road because it's a shortcut. I don't have to go around Blackrock Summit again. So let's see, it's about 3/10 of a mile down to my car. It should be downhill from here all the way, so thank goodness for that. This is a map of today's hike. It's 2 quadrangle maps pasted together. The right hand side is Browns Cove, 1997, and the left side is Crymora, 1997. And the purpose of the hike was to hike a stretch of the AT, go visit the Blackrock Summit, and also continue south down to Blackrock Gap, and then bushwhack down the side of the mountain looking for the former site of the Blackrock Springs Resort. This red line is Skyline Drive, and you park right here at mile marker 85. That's the Blackrock Summit parking lot. There's a short connector that gets you out here to the Appalachian Trail, and then basically hike south, follow the signposts. You'll end up veering off to the right, and Blackrock Summit is right here, and the AT just wraps around the summit like that. So I got some shots of the Blackrock Summit. Then I continued south on the AT down to, I didn't mark it on the map, but down to about here. There's a turnoff to the left that takes you down. This is a pretty steep section here that gets you down to the Blackrock Shelter, or in Shenandoah a lot of them are called huts, Blackrock Hut. So we checked that out this spring. And they've replaced the old pit privy here with one of the composting ones, so I got pictures of that also. Then back up onto the AT, and continuing further south down to here, Blackrock Gap. Now, I drew in a couple of roads here Oh, I didn't draw in the one I was looking for though. Let me just put a little pencil mark here. Okay. This road right here is the modern day Pain Run trail. It goes all the way down the side of the mountain like this. And what I did was I hiked down to this point number 8, waypoint 8, because on a Google Earth picture that I'll show you in a minute, I could see traces of roads here heading up towards the site of the Blackrock Springs Resort, and also I saw another road coming up like this and then down to the resort. And there's actually a whole network of traces of roads in here, so you can tell it was a lot of roads in there. So I did find this old road. It actually comes down kind of like this and then it curves back and heads up here to this area. Explored this area some, found 2 of the springs, an area that was obviously dug out and leveled off for something, probably a building, and big pile of rocks, including rocks that had been squared off by stonemasons, you know, for like building corners and stuff of buildings. After that, I decided to there's also a road coming up like from here. So what I did was I bushwhacked down to this point 7, which put me back onto the modern day Fire Road trail, Pain Run trail, and then back up the mountain to the Gap, and then all the way back up, which is uphill all the way back to my car. Now let me show you what made me want to start looking for these. This is a Google Earth picture, January 2011. The key point being that it was taken in January in the winter time, so the trees have dropped their leaves. Here's Blackrock Gap. Here's the modern day road coming down. Now when you get to my Blackrock Gap waypoint 8, I dotted it in. You can see the trace of a road that came off like this and then headed back up like that. This is the area where I found the springs and the rock pile and the leveled off area. And also, I don't know if it's going to show up in this video, but there's all sorts of roads in through here. You can see the traces of them all in through here. Okay, and then here's the one that heads back to my waypoint 7, and then I followed this on back up the modern day road back up to the Gap. Oh, here's what the road traces look like. This is a pretty good example of one right here. See that? Because what happens is the roads over time, the road is flat or dished out, so it reflects sunlight different than the surrounding terrain, and that's why you can see them on these winter shots. This hike was more difficult than a lot of the bushwhack ones that I took. This one ends up being 6.2 miles, which is not too bad, but the ascent was 1,614 feet, which is a lot for me anyway. So it's a pretty interesting hike. I'll probably go back next winter and do a little more exploring in this area. I think there's more to find down here, and with all the network of roads and things going on down there, I mean, that looked like it must have been a fairly busy place once upon a time. And that was the hike for today.